Yo, gang, so part 2 of this the life and death of Drakeo the Ruler. Shout out Traveler Ross putting this together. You feel me? Alright, so after I did the first part, I went and did a little research, you know, just some mini research. And I you know, they obviously still got the video of what happened on YouTube. And that shit was just crazy, man. That shit was just real crazy. From what I saw, it was a lot of niggas. It was a lot of niggas against them. And they tried to hold up as much as they could, bro. And I did see Ralphie run back and shit, but I was honestly really there for the comments. You know, see what people was talking about under there and shit. And one of y'all told me that it was 80 bloods. I said 18. I thought Traveler Ross said 18, but I think he actually said 18 plus. So they can mean anything above 18. And they were saying like a lot of different numbers, 50 to 16, 50 to 6, and all that shit. But overall, man, this man shouldn't have lost his life, bro. This shit just crazy. They say this shit how the streets go, but I feel like it's just always the way. But too much talking, man. Let's go ahead and get into it.
You'll be aware at this point that while Drakeo the
Alright, one of y'all commented. I'm gonna go read y'all comment, bro. I'm gonna read it out loud. Cause I think I said something like, you know, people probably don't even really know where it started or something like that. And somebody was like, we know. Y'all stay be under my shit. We know the truth. Somebody said, we really know the truth, but where it said though. Oh, the music boss said it. The music boss sent me off, y'all. He sent me off, said Drakeo ain't had no dreads. Yeah, I'm putting you on blast, bruh. But he said, we do know the truth where it started. He said it all started when they murdered Red Bull from Inglewood. That's what he was in jail last time for. So I see that it said Red Bull right here. So now I'm up on the game a little bit. So music ball, you got one right, G-Ball. Let's go.
doesn't claim an alliance to a specific LA gang set, he's got a lot of collaborators, friends and affiliates who do claim gang sets associated with the neighborhood Crips. And one of these Crip affiliated Stink Team members is Kells of the Rolling Hundreds. Kells would appear on the song Chunky Monkey with Drakeo and Ralphie on October the 25th, 2016. A track all about keeping a big gun, or as they call it, a chunky monkey, with Stink Team members dancing around in the music video wearing gorilla masks and toting chunky monkeys. But it would turn out that these chunky monkeys weren't just for showing off in the music video. It was clear that the Stink Team would need to protect themselves around this period, as according to a Fader article, the very month that this video was released, Drakeo, Ketchy, and 2 Shitty of the Stink Team were all shot at in separate incidents. It's still unclear exactly why or who would want to kill the Stink Team, but their ongoing feuds with other Blood Gang associated rappers, and their close affiliation with various Crip sets clearly hadn't done them any favors. Whilst Drakeo's ongoing rivalry with Athens Park Blood RJ was getting a lot of attention because of the music that they were making, it would actually be the neighborhood Crips' ongoing street war with the Inglewood Family Gangster Bloods that would ultimately bring tragedy to the Stink Team. The Inglewood Family Gangster Bloods, or IFGB, or simply Inglewood Family's Gang, IFG, are an LA blood set with a long and storied history. They mainly beef with neighborhood Crip gangs like the Rolling 60s and Rolling Hundreds, gang sets which the Stink Team...
Hey, so before all this shit, right, when he was doing the when he did the song with Mustard, and you know him and RJ was cool, was the Crips tripping? Or was he already cool with the Crips like he was throughout the whole thing, you know? Were they tripping that he did a song with a blood was on?
Apparently have close affiliations with. And in the streets, one of the biggest names associated with Inglewood is Munchie B, an Inglewood blood with a fearsome reputation in the streets. But his reign as a hardened hitter would be cut short after he was shot in the head and left blind, apparently the result of an internal conflict. But even without his sight, Munchie B would remain an influential figure in LA gang politics for years to come. In fact, Munchie B would end up being interviewed alongside fellow Inglewood bloods Baby Dot and Red Bull, giving the history of their hood to a channel called Street TV.
Munchie B, Inglewood Family Gangsters. Red Bull, non-deuce Inglewood Family. Somebody put up on the side of my car and let off a gang of shots. You know what I mean? So I ended up taking a shot to the head, Shit, but unfortunately I ended up losing my sight.
And during that interview, this trio of Inglewood Bloods would also explain their connections to DJ Mustard and YG.
Yeah, it go way back to the chain game. Before it's Inglewood family, it's called the chain game. All these LA-based rappers, we pretty much all partied together before they blew up, though. The boy Ty, Mustard, YG, J305.
So with the rivalry between the Stink Team and DJ Mustard, YG, and RJ heating up off the back of this...
Hold on. So we connected Mustard. See, I never be thinking about this shit like really what like producers from. I never thought like, well, where a producer from if he ain't from Chicago, bro. So you telling me Mustard is under like the Bloods? Some form of, I ain't saying Mustard is a Blood, but you know, that's where people like to put him in and shit. That shit crazy. But they take me back to the last video, part 1, when I said, is it true that LA, you have to pick a side? You get a certain age and they say, all right, it's time for you to pick a side. Do you get a choice to say, no, I'm cool, you know?
You can see why there's a lot of interconnected reasons why the Bloods and the Stinks aren't going to get along. And to make matters worse, it would later emerge that Stink Team member Kells had an active feud with Red Bull, the Inglewood family Blood, who had appeared alongside Munchie B in that Street TV interview. Red Bull allegedly also had a serious reputation when it came to Inglewood gang politics, but sadly, Red Bull would eventually run into the Stink Team with deadly consequences. Because on Saturday, the 10th of December 2016, several members of the Stink Team, including Kells and Drakeo, were chilling at Draco's house. And it was here that Drakeo would see what was later described as a pay-for-entry pajama party advertised on Instagram, with Drakeo rallying the Stink Team to go from his place to the party, with plans for 17-year-old Crip affiliate Arlington Blue, aka AB, real name Jaden Boyd, planning to join the Stink Team en route. The whole crew would travel in a 5-car convoy to the party in Carson, around 15 minutes away from Draco's apartment, with the crew arriving to the area and parking their cars. At some point, Too Shitty from the Stink Team approaches Draco's car to tell him that members from Inglewood families are there, with Drakeo apparently suggesting at this point that the crew leave. However, within seconds, Red Bull...
For sure, Drakeo. Just get up out of there, bro. Fuck it.
Inglewood, real name Davon Gregory, would walk past the Stink Team. This was a completely chance encounter, with Red Bull apparently being spotted at the wrong place in the wrong time by his opposition.
Hold on, gang. I kind of missed that a little bit. I don't want to, you know what I'm saying?
Inglewood families are there, with Drakeo apparently suggesting at this point that the crew leave. However, within seconds, Red Bull from Inglewood, real name Davon Gregory, would walk past the Stink Team. This was a completely chance encounter, with Red Bull apparently being spotted at the wrong place in the wrong time by his opposition. With Kells and AB, the neighborhood Crips that were also in the Stink Team, who had an active feud with Red Bull and the Inglewood families, pulling pistols and opening fire as soon as they saw him. The shooting erupted at around 11:30 p.m, leaving 2 unrelated people injured, and Red Bull shot numerous times, sadly later losing his life.
Shots were fired at a birthday party in Carson. 3 men were hit and one of them has now died. The shooting happened just before midnight in the 100 block of West Victoria Street.
Shit, that shit tough, man. It seemed like honestly everybody was at the wrong place at the wrong time. Shit, I don't think Drakeo would have never slid if he knew it was that, because if that was the case, he would have never even went to say let's go. He would have just like, fuck that, let's stay. If he was on bullshit, but he was, you know, he was trying to kick it. And then this shit just happened. Dude walked past, and the other 2 hot-head, whoever was the shooter, you know, let some shit off. So I know Drakeo didn't want to be there at the time. And I know, you know, niggas didn't want this shit to go left, bro. Because like I said, he wanted to pull he wouldn't say let's go, you know, if he wanted to smoke, but he was just trying to kick it. That shit crazy. Everybody was at the wrong place at the wrong time.
The shootout was just in front of the building that housed the party. Deputies say as many as 100 people were attending what they describe as a pay-for-entry adult-themed party.
These women told me about 30 young men showed up after the party started and were turned away because they didn't have IDs and some had guns. Something happened in the parking lot, shots were fired, and the next thing that these 2 women told me that they knew was that someone who had been shot in the parking lot ran back into the party.
After the shooting, Kells turned to Drakeo and bragged of how he emptied his entire clip into Red Bull. And apparently following the shooting, the Stink Team jumped back into their cars, driving back to Draco's apartment in complete silence, with the group apparently being unaware that Red Bull had even died until they saw it on the news at 3 a.m. the next day. A vigil for Red Bull would take place in his hood the next day, with the local police moving dirty and targeting the event, shooting somebody and arresting a whopping 10 people.
We have learned that 10 people who were at the gathering have been arrested. They say the event was a memorial for a 24-year-old man killed at a party in Carson Saturday night. NBC4 covered that as well. But last night, around 10:30, LAPD says 2 units from the Gang Enforcement Division out of Southeast Station approached a group of about 30 people outside a home on 99th Street west of Figueroa. LAPD describes the gathering as a party and says as officers approached, some of the people in the group started running away. One man allegedly pulled a gun and shot at the officers. They were not hit, but one at least returned fire.
Red Bull's friend Baby Dot, who had appeared in that Street TV interview with him alongside Munchie B, would later speak on his friend's passing in a follow-up interview.
He was up there chilling, standing in line, and some shit jumped off, and he happened to be one of the people who happened to take the downfall for him, man. Oh, that shit hit close, man. Like, Red Bull was like the first homie I lost in a long time that I was actually really close with. And once you lose that certain person that's damn near like a brother to you, it hit a little harder to home.
Munchie B would also mourn the loss of Red Bull, later releasing an emotional tribute song to him called R.I.P. RB. Now, initially, detectives didn't have anything to link Red Bull's murder to the Stink Team, and after the shooting went down, Drakeo would return to music and go on to drop some of the best songs of his career. Problem is, he probably didn't realize that he was leaving evidence behind at every turn. On December the 16th, 2016, Drakeo's new song Bully Break.
I ain't never did this one. Why does this video look familiar though? But I know Traveler and Ross probably finna give me the answer that I'm looking for, but did Drakeo really get on that with Red Bull and his lyrics? Because like I said, I feel that he really just pulled up and wanted to kick it. He ain't pull up and wanna get into no type of beef, get into no type of trouble that can lead him to jail time or to make this shit even hotter. Because also from my impression, I don't know, my impression of Drakeo, that ain't even his line of work. You know what I'm saying? When it comes to doing some shit, murder ain't his line of work. So that's just my impression on this shit though so far, you know. And what I've been listening to Drakeo type shit. I know he taunt niggas, but you know, I don't know.
Drops, with detectives later saying that it was this music video that helped them find the location of Drakeo's apartment. And then, just over a week after that, Drakeo would drop another music video filmed in his apartment, the Impatient Freestyle. The December 18th,
I knew it looked familiar. I did the Impatient Freestyle for sure.
2016 music video would go on to be the most viewed music video of Drakeo's career, racking up over 31 million YouTube views to date. And the video for Impatient featured Drakeo and his crew posted up in his apartment, showing off a bunch of big guns, as well as scenes filmed in a parking garage, as always showing off his beloved Mercedes GLE Coupe. The song itself included thugged out lyrics all about guns, shootings, and a line where he literally says, if you want to represent the Stink Team, you need to hop out the car and kill someone. Following this, Drakeo's third mixtape, So Cold I Do 'Em, dropped on Christmas Day 2016. The mixtape featured a front cover, once again sporting Drakeo's signature Mercedes SUV. It was a great mixtape, but unfortunately for Drakeo, that Mercedes SUV that he'd been putting in his music videos and on the cover of his tapes, and bragging about on Twitter, matched the description of a vehicle that was seen leaving the scene of Red Bull's murder. And
Alright, that make a lot of sense right there. You can't deny that one. You can't deny that one. But honestly, man, let's keep it a buck, gang. Let's keep it a buck here, man. Do y'all think Drakeo was just so in love with his car that he just kept putting that bitch in the forefront? Or do y'all think, you know, he was showing that bitch like, you know, what it said, I'm so cold I do it to him type shit? Was it like some messy shit? That shit just a tough one. I feel like he was in love with that bitch though. But you just never know. Let me know what y'all think about that shit.
soon, the feds would come knocking for the Stink Team, ready to do everything in their power to take them down. On the 31st of December 2016, Drakeo drops the Flex Freestyle. This is a remix of...
I remixed that hoe too. He definitely was flexing in this motherfucker.
RJ's song Flex, a retaliation to RJ remixing Drakeo's song on Warning. And it features a lyric where...
Hey, but see, he keep his car with him. That's why it's tough. Like, he just love that motherfucker. That motherfucker damn near his brand right now. A part of his brand.
Drakeo says that he has RJ tied up in the back of his car. This was a pretty inane lyric aiming to poke fun at a rival, but sadly it would come back to haunt Drakeo massively. Because while Drakeo was recording music and videos, trying to push his rap career forward, local police were watching his videos and reading his lyrics, intensely looking for clues to connect the Stink team to the December 10th murder of Red Bull. And soon they would have the connection that they needed. Because at this point all the cops had were bullets and shell casings from 38 and 40 caliber pistols, as well as surveillance footage and witnesses placing a Mercedes SUV at the scene. However, at some point, detectives working the case hear Drakeo's name mentioned on an unrelated wiretap, plus the victim's family telling cops that they heard rumors that Drakeo was somehow involved in the murder. This was apparently all that was needed to tie Drakeo to the crime, and at this point the cops decided to close in. Only a couple of days after the Flex freestyle,
This shit tough as hell, G, cause this shit tough as hell, bro, cause he didn't do this shit, you know? He didn't do this shit, bro. This shit real tough that motherfuckers mentioned him, but what can they say? I'm pretty sure it was nighttime, so all motherfuckers seen was gunshots and shit, bro. This is a tough one, bro. But what I do know is he stayed solid through it all, so shit, this shit's still tough for real.
One day after Drakeo's son was born, and one day after New Year's on the 2nd of January 2017, the members of the Stink team are all hanging out at the LA condo where Drakeo had filmed his earlier Impatient freestyle and the Bully Breaker music video. According to later court documents, Drakeo's distinctive Mercedes being parked outside alerted the cops that he was indeed in the property. Drakeo's apartment was then raided by the SWAT team, who found Drakeo's family and the Stink team in the house in the presence of a number of firearms. The cops would arrest Drakeo and his homies, including his brother Ralphie the Plug, with Drakeo receiving 6 counts of unlawful possession of a firearm by a felon, with Drakeo later telling DJ Vlad that he racked up a total of 9 counts that day.
Every single one.
How many guns?
Only one. 9.
So all 9 guns, they said, were yours?
Yeah, every single one.
And apparently even Drakeo's mother and sister were there, getting arrested alongside a whole bunch of the Stink team members.
My mom, my sister, Too Shitty, his baby mama, and Bambino, Solo, my brother. It was a lot of people. It was
Nothing connecting Drakeo or the Stink team to the murder of Red Bull was found that day.
Hey, I should watch the Vlad interview. That man know how to ask some questions, don't he, on my soul?
Apparently the guns that were found in the property were not the ones used in the murder of Red Bull. But regardless, Drakeo would still be headed to jail, with rap blogs beginning to position him as LA's Gucci Mane. Fortunately, Drakeo was able to continue to release music and music videos from behind bars, with pre-recorded tracks like Cocoon releasing publicly over this period. In a February 2017 interview with LA Weekly from jail, Drakeo said he was optimistic about his release and vowing to hit the studio as soon as he got home. But perhaps he shouldn't have been so optimistic, because while Drakeo was remaining solid in his cell, the same couldn't be said about some of his Stink team brethren. After being arrested, Stink team member Too Shitty is placed into a cell with an undercover informant, who's planted there wearing a wire specifically to gather information about Red Bull's murder. Now, this is part of a controversial strategy where the local detectives take advantage of a loophole where they're allowed to send in jailhouse informants undercover as long as it's done before suspects are formally charged. It's a slippery tactic, but it sure does work, as it was later revealed in court that Too Shitty had spilled the beans to this informant completely, admitting directly to the undercover that the shooter was that 17-year-old Crip called AB, or Arlington Blue, real name Jaden Boyd, the Rolling 40s Crip who had accompanied the Stink team to that party. After
That shit foul play. That shit foul play, gang. Goddamn, how you gonna put a foreman in this motherfucking cell with me, bro? God damn, that's why I thought, like, you know, when you do go to jail and shit, don't even talk to your cellie about shit, you know. Just lie about some shit to his ass too, shit. You damn near lying to the judge, you lying to everybody, lie to everybody, shit. That shit crazy. They definitely just jammed this man up with something he ain't see coming.
confession, AB is then arrested himself and placed into a cell with another undercover informant, posing as an OG Crip. And once again, AB confesses the crime and many specific details to this undercover snitch, with a 1 hour 22-minute recording of their conversation even being played to the court. During this conversation, AB admitted outright that he shot Red Bull with the .38 pistol, as well as saying that it was Kells shooting with the .40 Glock. AB even admitted that he had been actively beefing with Red Bull over this period and had planned to shoot him on sight, even going as far as to break down why he used a .38 pistol specifically so that he didn't leave behind shell casings. I mean, he literally admitted to the undercover directly that he got caught on camera smoking somebody. He admitted shooting the man directly.
God damn, AB. Shit. AB was a hot one, huh? And he probably gonna cover it in here, I don't know, but if I don't make it to that point of the video, is how long AB got? He still locked up? What's the update on here, bro? This shit crazy. I ain't never heard this shit before. I heard of like maybe like quote unquote dirty the officer, whatever they call the damn officers in the jail, the prisons and shit, giving you a phone and you think you cool with that nigga, the officer, and you call your people and you talking on the burner phone and that bitch tapped. But I ain't never heard of them putting an informant in your fucking cell or whatever, and you just, this shit crazy.
2 times, but denied shooting him in the head, quite literally saying definitively that he popped Kerr. Now, during this conversation, AB only incriminated himself and Kells, essentially saying nothing to implicate Draco. And as far as Draco's concerned, at this point it really should have been case closed, because the 2 shooters had been identified specifically, and there wasn't a single mention of Draco's role in the murder.
But maybe for one, they hating. They don't want to let Draco walk and go get some more fucking money. You know what I'm saying? And 2, they probably on some, you know, you a part of the crime, you pulled up with them to do what y'all did type shit. That's what they probably thinking. But they don't know. Bro just trying to kick it.
Found at all. In fact, during this time, the cops even tried to put an undercover informant into Draco's cell too, with a 1.5-minute recording captured within Draco's cell revealing absolutely nothing. Because there was nothing to speak on. From start to finish, it appeared clearly established that AB and Kells killed Red Bull in a split-second decision, with Draco apparently completely unaware of what was going to unfold that night. So, the cops would have no choice but to let Draco go. For now. But sadly, they would hold a grudge. And only after a few months of freedom, the cops would return to try and pull off a tricky maneuver, using flimsy evidence and a convoluted case to take Draco off the streets once again, this time at the height of his fame.
Hey, Draco was really in a tough spot, bro. He was really in a tough spot, and I wondered, did he know? Was he looking at the nigga that was trying to ask questions like, shit? You know what I'm saying? Type shit. Like, did he think like, did he think ahead? Like, I don't really want to be, nigga, I don't know you, so I ain't gonna be talking to you unless these informants are familiar faces a little bit. Type shit, I don't know, but for him not to say nothing, he's smart for that for sure.
Draco would spend 10 months in jail before eventually being released on bail in November 2017. And as soon as he's released from jail, Draco gets out and spends around 10 days in the studio recording 16 tracks for his new mixtape, Cold Devil, which releases on December the 26th, 2017. This mixtape was the biggest release of Draco's career to date, cementing him as one of LA's foremost independent street rappers. Pitchfork reviewed the album positively, calling it the most compelling release of his career, and Draco backed up the tape with music videos of the most compelling songs. Flu Flamming was Draco's flagship anthem of being a home invader targeting the Asian community. Laced with tongue-in-cheek lyrics about Mei Ling taking him shopping, he had other classic tracks like Big Bank Oochies.
Right. That's what I feel is Draco's line of work. You know what I'm saying? That's his line of work. He ain't too much disguising that shit. Y'all know that shit. Y'all know the truth, right? So it's just like, that's his line of work. He ain't on that, on some other, that other shit, some next level shit.
Out the Slums with 03 Greedo, with the videos for these tracks racking up millions of views and cementing Draco's place as one of LA's most popping rappers. But naturally, this didn't stop the haters, as people like former collaborator Scheme were releasing diss tracks aimed at Draco shortly after his release. But Draco wouldn't let the haters stop him, and he would continue promoting himself and his career. On December the 14th, 2017, Draco popped up alongside his brother Ralphie the Plug for his first major interview since being released from jail on No Jumper with Adam 22. And during this interview, he touched on a lot of interesting things, telling Adam about his intense withdrawals going cold turkey from codeine-based cough syrup whilst in jail, and detailing his massive weight loss as a result.
Oh yeah, suffering, sweating, looking like a heroin addict in that motherfucker. Bitch, you gonna tell me? So you got a little scrutiny here. What you were doing in there?
She got a like a crystal head.
Draco also touched on people dissing him while he was in jail, acknowledging that his former friend Scheme had turned on him, and saying that RJ had been telling his crowds to hate on Draco.
Scheme, who was your homie before? You had songs before with him, right?
Yeah, I know. And then mysteriously, like, I guess
Don't get it. No clown. I don't know none of these.
A lot of people want to know about the beef with you and RJ.
Oh no, that before he was going all over the town and shit, making posters and signs and shit at the shows.
Yeah.
Draco. He'd start off his show like, let me hear y'all say Draco.
Draco would actually go on to say that him and RJ...
I fuck with him and Ralphie together, bro. That shit real brother shit. I can't think of nobody in the industry that's really like that for real. Like the type of genuine shit. Like I said in the video, Ralphie's such a real brother that he don't give a fuck if Draco driving the boat. You know, he own the ship. That shit, all that matter. He don't mind his brother being the forefront today and he be the forefront tomorrow type shit. That shit just real shit. I don't see that. I'm really trying to think. I don't see that shit in the industry though.
Settled their beef before he went to jail.
But yeah, that shit over now though. That shit over.
It's over?
Yeah,
like you guys talked about it or something?
Yeah, I seen him. He said that we both from the West and need to represent the West, and we both can't be beefing and all this other shit.
And he would end his interview by saying that he wants to stay away from guns and stay out of jail.
Oh yeah, I'm chilling, man. You know, no guns, no videos, nothing like that.
No guns in the videos.
And
that's a big change right there.
Super Soaker 3000 or something.
It was good to see Draco taking positive steps since his release. And from here, he would continue pushing his career forward and racking up big wins. On December the 19th, he did a big sold-out show at the Observatory. And on December the 28th, 2017, him and Ralphie would release their new song, The Right Decision, where spray paint shown on a wall in the opening shot would reveal graffiti saying "Free Drakey, fuck Too Snitchy," a reference to the Stink Team member Too Shitty, slipping up and telling a prison house informant the details of the Red Bull murder. But sadly, once again,
I mean, how would you feel? It's fucked up. It's all these situations just tough as hell, bro. He's put in a tough situation, but I understand, like, you really shouldn't be saying nothing to nobody. Nothing to no fucking body. I don't care who it is, bro. Like I said, if you gonna sit there and lie to the judge, you need to just lie to everybody. Just lie to everybody, bro. Cause if it don't know only two men, I found out that's how it went, I wouldn't want to fuck with him. I ain't gonna say probably. I wouldn't want to fuck with him either, bro. So he got put in a tough situation on my soul.
This, just like many other references to street goings-on in Draco's songs and music videos, would end up being used against him by detectives, with the public diss towards a cooperating Stink Team member apparently being interpreted by detectives as witness intimidation, which they tried to use to escalate the charges against Draco.
Somebody had tagged Too Snitchy about a guy who was Stink Team that had given some information to the police. So they tagged the witness intimidation with a gang enhancement. So now these guys are facing life in prison.
So while Draco had spent the months between December 2017 and March 2018 focused on his career and building his fan base, the cops would be building their case, taking notes on everything that Draco said or did over this period, trying to twist it to use it against him. And it would appear that eventually they decided to strike Draco down once again, this time at the very peak of his career, as the mainstream media would finally pay attention to this LA legend in the making in a comprehensive LA Times piece covering Draco's come-up being published in March 2018. An interview ironically starting out discussing Draco's previous release from jail, describing his 2017 stint behind bars as an 11-month iron vacation for multiple counts of unlawful possession of a firearm by a felon. And in a tragic case of famous last words, with Draco saying in that article that he thought that his time in prison would have been much worse. Perhaps it was arrogant comments like this that had the cops itching to put Draco back into jail, this time under much harsher conditions. Because around 2 weeks after that interview had taken place, quite literally,
my thing is though, I get it. I get it. Police will be police, bro. But what the fuck is the problem? What y'all really want Draco for? The shooter admitted, bro. The shooter admitted. Along with the two shitty dudes saying what he said. The shooter admitted, yeah, I popped cuz, me and woo woo. Draco's name was not mentioned. And when it was them, they turn to try and shake Draco on some sneaky shit, he didn't go for that shit. So what the fuck y'all got the shooters? Well, I don't understand why y'all steady fucking with him.
Just days after this LA Times story went public, Draco would be arrested for possession of a firearm once again. Draco was brought to the police station where he weirdly said that the cops were playing his music, before then being taken to court where Draco said that he apparently had no idea what was going on, at which point prosecutors dropped the shocking bomb on him that he was being charged with first-degree murder, 5 counts of attempted murder, and conspiracy to commit murder in connection with Red Bull's death. These would be serious charges, and beating them would be no easy feat. But it wasn't just Draco in trouble. Other members of the Stink team were arrested as part of this case, like Ralphie and Ketchy, who were arrested in San Francisco whilst on tour with Shoreline Mafia, with the cops apparently using their Instagram posts to locate them. And Ralphie would later elaborate being caught up in this sudden Stink team sweep in an interview on No Jumper.
Wait, where'd they get you?
Alright, what the fuck? What the fuck, bro? I'm just confused as to why it's like, nah, like, yeah, we want Draco. Now it's like, nah, fuck that. We want the whole fucking team. Like, what?
I'm from San Francisco.
So you went all the way up there just to get arrested for shit in LA?
Thinking we cool, we Instagram, playing 2K and shit. As soon as we check in, they open the door, I'm laying on the bed, I look up and police coming. I'm like, ah, man, this is bullshit. Homies laying outside,
right.
Towels and shit, no clothes on and shit. I thought I was supposed to be on tour. He drove all the way out there for 9 hours just to drive back 12 hours on the bus.
So with the Stink team firmly behind bars, Draco would have to prepare for the fight of his life. A full-blown murder charge where the worst possible...
I really hope y'all tell me in the comments why they was on Draco head so hard, along with bringing the Stink team into this shit.
Outcome might...
Wait, all over a murder that was already solved because the shooter admitted he was the shooter.
Just be life in prison or even the death penalty.
Alright, man, I'm gonna stop it right there. But like I said, I hope y'all just tell me. What the fuck? What's the problem? Why they just can't be like, alright, we solved the murder case? Is it because Draco got off, but he was on the scene? Is it that he still was driving that motherfucking car and they hate that car so much because they can't afford the car, so they on some other shit. But this shit a tough one, bro. This shit a tough one. It's when blood gets shed, bro, ain't no coming back from that. For this to be part 2, this shit give me like part 1 vibes. Like this shit just getting started type shit. But yeah, let me know what y'all think, man. The Life or Death of Draco, The Ruler, part 2. Shout out to Traveler Ross for putting all this shit together. The boy did his motherfucking homework. Along with y'all, he know the truth just like y'all know the truth, shit. But catch you on the next reaction.